Okay, there we go. All right, so for alpha and G, sorry, you guys are getting the bootleg version of A period class. This is as good as it's gonna get today. If you need anything or have questions, let me know or ask a classmate. So I'm gonna teach, we're gonna have a break halfway through. That can be your brain break, it's our lunch break, and then we'll reconvene later. All right, and again, we're doing P3. If you look ahead at this, this is an equation section, and this is usually what we like, right? You spend a lot of time solving equations in algebra too, so we're doing similar stuff here. All right, beginning P3. Is -1 a solution of this equation? How do you find that out? What do we need to do? Good, plug in -1 and solve. All right, let's do that. So I'm gonna plug -1 in for my x. So I get -1/2 plus 1/6 equals -1/3. You can do a couple different things. We can either clear out the denominators or we can just get common denominators. Let's get common denominators while we're here. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 on top and bottom. So I get a common denominator of 6. And I'm going to multiply the opposite side by 2 on top and bottom. So I get a common denominator of 6 over there as well. That gives me -3/6 plus 1/6 equals -2/6. Combine my left-hand side, that's -2/6. Oh, shoot. That's exactly what I wanted, right? Is -1 a solution?
Yes.
Yes. Plug and check, we're gonna say yes. Cool. Flip it over. Next page. All right, these problems say which of the following are linear equations? We're just gonna say yes, or we're gonna say no. Remind me again, what is a linear equation? What does that like mean or refer to? A line, good, it's a line. What's the equation of a line? A general equation form? Good, y equals mx plus b. It might be back there in the dark caves of your brain. You really hammer that in algebra 1. So we want something that looks like y equals mx plus b. There should be no exponents on it. And that's it. That's essentially all we're looking for. Does A look like it could kind of be in the form of y equals mx plus b? Yep. I'm just gonna give it a check mark for yes. B, what do we think? I'm gonna say yes because I've got x's here. So I'm gonna say yes. What about C?
No.
Definitely not, right? That's a square root. What about D? No, there's not even an x in there. E?
No.
No, it's an x squared. And then F?
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna argue no. Because of one thing right there, the fraction. This is more for you to see. I'm not gonna put this on the test. This is like silly, I think, but it's important to see like what looks like a line, what doesn't look like a line. Some things that are definitely not linear equations, and you can choose to write this or just listen to me. Anything with an x squared is definitely not a linear equation. Anything with an x cube is definitely not. Anything with a radical x is not. The one that tripped us up is 1/x. Those are like reciprocal functions, and we're going to do a lot of those. And then the last one is if I have like a number raised to x. That's an exponential one, and we'll deal with those later. So these are like all kind of little chapters we'll get to doing, but I need you to remember linear means that there's no exponent, it's just an x by itself. Cool? All right, we're going to solve some equations. I'm gonna do one, and then I want you to do the rest. We'll do a little turn and talk, a little bit more class participation today. All right, so this is an equation. Every time there's an equal sign, if you're like, dumb, that's why I don't need to write that down, don't write it down. I don't care. You don't need to show me too much work. I still show work. I'm gonna get my x's together, and I'm gonna get my constants together in the same like set. Move my 2x over, move my 6 over, so I get 5x equals 10. Divide by 5. I get 2 equals x. All right, 2 more like that. Why don't you guys try those 2, turn and talk, or do it by yourself, and then I'll jump and go over them momentarily. So try B and C by yourself. Or with a neighbor. You can talk quietly if you want to. Take a minute to finish where you're at. Let's see. Yeah. With the neighbor, if they do that. That's also okay. All right, let's look at letter B first. Hey guys, how do we get rid of that 2/3 in front of the x? Multiply by the reciprocal, multiply by 3/2. I like to put it on both sides just so I can nicely cross it out so I get x. And you can multiply across here and then simplify. I'm going to simplify right here though, because I see that 4 and 2 both have a 2 in common. So I'm going to cross that out and make that a 2 and make that a 1. I've got 2 and 3 on top, so I've got 6 and I've got 5. Oh, perfect, that's it. Questions, concerns? All right, letter C. I've got this big giant thing. Make sure we distribute. 15z minus 9. And then minus 8z minus 4 equals 5z minus 2. I like to combine all my terms before I do anything else. So I'm going to do my 15 minus 8z is 7z. Then I've got negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13 equals 5z minus 2. Minus 5z from both sides plus 13 to both sides. And I get 2z equals 11. And then I just divide by 11. And you can keep that, oh, it's z not x. You can keep it as a fraction or you can make it a decimal. What is that? 5.5 as a decimal? Perfect. All right, everyone good with those first couple? All right, the next ones, we got some fractions involved. And so I want to kind of go over a couple of things here. We can do several different things here. I'm going to do what I know best. If you're like, I learned a different way, I'll go over that if you want me to. When I have just one thing as a fraction, I'm going to get that fraction alone, and then I'm going to deal with the denominator. So let's start by minusing 5 on both sides over here. I know I can't combine 5 and 3x, but I just want to get rid of it. So I've got 2x minus 3/4 equals 3x minus 5. Okay. Now I want to get rid of that denominator, so I'm going to multiply by x on both sides. Not x, excuse me, 4 on both sides. 4 and 4. I was really intentional to put my parentheses here. On the left side, I just cancel out the denominator, so I'm still left with 2 minus 3. Don't multiply 4 on top, just cancel it on the bottom. On the right side, I'm going to distribute that 4 to everything. So I get 12x minus 20. And again, I put parentheses so I didn't just multiply the 4 by the 5 or just multiply that 4 by the 5 or the 3x. Got to distribute it. Good so far? Now I'm going to move everything to one side, or sorry, I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to minus 2x and I'm going to add 20. So I get 17 equals 10x. And then just divide by 10. I'm just going to leave it as 17 over 10 because I'm too lazy to get my calculator out. But if you want to get your calculator out, you can give me a decimal for that. That's fine. Cool. All right, next one, similar idea. When I have all fractions, so when I just have one, I just isolate that one fraction, I got rid of that denominator. When I have all of them have fractions, I want to multiply by the greatest common denominator. I want to multiply by the biggest number that's going to clear all of these out. So I want a number that's going to cancel out 3 and 4 and 2. What number should that be? 12. Good. So I'm going to multiply by 12 to every single one of these fractions. The first one, I've got 12 on top, I've got 3 on bottom, so I get to cross those out, and that's going to be 4 times the numerator. Because if I do 12 divided by 3, I'm just left with 4. Are we okay with that? So if I did 12 times this, 12 and 3 cross out, so I'm left with 4 times the numerator. The next one, it's 4, so when I cross that one out, I'm going to get a 3, sorry, not in the denominator. The 4 cancels out, and I get a 3 up here. So it's going to be plus 3 times t plus 5. And then last, I've got 2 and 12, so when I cross those out, it's going to be 6 is left. So I've got 6 times 1. That's redundant to write. I'm just going to leave it as 6. We okay with that? I know sometimes in Algebra 2, they teach you to get the common denominator, and then you just get rid of the denominator. You can also do that too. I just think this makes more sense. All right, distribute and solve. I won't narrate that. You guys can think that on your own, but I'll do it up here if you need to check it. And I got -5/7. You okay with that? Awesome. All right, when you're ready, flip your paper over. All right, now we've got inequalities on the next side of the page. So inequalities, I want us to solve the exact same way we solve equations, but I want us to graph when we get to the end of the answer. Okay? If you want to write those as equal signs until the very end, I do not care. It does not matter. We treat everything else the same. Move the right things to the same side. So I'm going to move my x's to the right side by minusing 2x. And I'm going to move my constants to the left side by minusing 3. So I get -4 is less than 2x. Once I get there, I'm going to divide by 2 from both sides, and I get -2 is less than or equal to x. I truly hate when x is on the right side. I like to have x first, so I'm just going to flip it. Remember when you flip it though, so x goes first, the sign also flips, so it's going to become a greater than or equal to -2. I just kind of think about, and this is not really great math teacher advice, but I just think about which side is it facing or which way is the sign eating the number, and I just flip it to so represent that. So it's eating the x over here, so I got to make sure it's eating the x over there. Again, not necessarily great pedagogy, but that's what I do. Now let's graph it. I got to make a little number line, -2, and I need an open circle. And I need to go bigger than. Close circle. Oh, thanks, guys. That was a dumb mistake. Close circle. All right. Everyone good on that? That was just one inequality. The next one has 2 inequalities. I don't know how they teach you in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2. I'm going to just keep it here, and whatever I do, I need to do to every single part. So instead of both sides, we're going to do it to all of the parts. So I'm getting the middle to just be x. So I'm going to start by adding 2. I don't just add 2 in the middle to get rid of it. I have to add it on the right, and I have to add it on the left. 2's cancel, and I get 1 is less than or equal to 3x, which is less than 9. Again, I'm still working to get all the way down to just x by itself, so I gotta get rid of that 3, and I'm gonna do that by dividing. And I don't just divide the 3 in the middle, I have to divide it on the right and on the left. So I divide 1 by 3 and I get 1/3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 3. Put my little number line down. Again, this doesn't have to be to scale. I just need to make sure 1/3, I know where it is, and I need to know where 3 is. So I have got, I'm going to shade in between them. Am I open or closed on 1/3? Good. Open or closed on 3? Good. And then in between them. All right. Everyone good so far? All right. Now we're going to do a lot of the same ideas. Do you want to try C and D on your own? Sure. Love that attitude. Sure. Let's try them on our own. And feel free to work with a neighbor if you want to. If on C you're not really sure where to start, I'm going to work on clearing my denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 6 to everything. That's the smallest number that's going to clear out all of my denominators. So when I do 6 times the first one, cross out a 2, so it's going to be 3. 3. Three times 3 minus x. When I put it in the second fraction, I cross it out and I get rid of the 3, so it's a 2, so plus 2 times 5x minus 2. And then less than, I get to, there's nothing to cross out with that -1, so it's going to be 6 times -1, which I can write out. Sorry, my pen's being really bad today. I'm so sorry. It's messier than normal. And then distribute. So if you're good, keep going. You can check yourself on letter C. I've got that up on the board. I haven't looked at D yet, but I've got C up on the board. Do you have the number line? Oh yeah, let's do the number line. Thanks, Liz. Anyone still looking at C? I'm gonna go attack D. Do I need to talk about that before I get started, or are we okay with that? Ooh, no, we got some fractions. Let's talk. If you're on D and you're not really sure where to start, or you want to check where you want to start, I want to clear my like denominators again. So I have a fraction here of 1/2, I've got a fraction of 1/3. I'm gonna clear them by, again, multiplying by 6, but I'm not gonna multiply anything inside of my parentheses. I'm just gonna worry about the outsides when I multiply by 6. So when I do 6 times 1/2, that gives me 3. I'm not doing anything to the inside, I just changed the number out front. 6 times 2 is 12, so that becomes 12 times x minus 4. Again, didn't touch the parentheses. And then 6 times 1/3 is 2x minus 3. And then carry on like you know how to solve. Kind of a funky answer. I got x is less than 33 over 13. Anyone else get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you get funny answers and then you start second guessing yourself and you're like, that seems too weird to get. We don't always get nice, pretty answers in pre-cal. So if you're like, I know I did my distributing right, I know I did my adding and subtracting right, trust yourself. And then again, I'm just going to throw 33 over 13 on my graph and I'm going to graph less than. All right. Keep going, shall we? All right, next one says is to a solution of, oh, sorry, was everyone good on number 4? I was moving quick. Everyone good on number 4? All right, move on to number 5 is to a solution of 7x minus 6 is less than 8. Let's plug and chug, let's find out. 7 times 2, is that what it was? Good, minus 6 is less than 8. 7 times 2 is 14, minus 6 is less than 8. 14 minus 6 is 8 is less than 8. Is that true or false? False. That is not true. That will not work. That is not right. So that means no, 2 is not a solution. It's not a solution. All right. The last few problems of this section are dealing with solving for an indicated variable. So we're gonna do 1 or 2, and then we're gonna go to lunch. And then when you come back, you'll do the next few. This is always confusing to us. Think about, like, I just want, like in this case, this first one, we're solving for W. I just want W by itself. So we want to move everything away from W. Okay. In this first one, I'd probably get rid of that 2 first. How do I get rid of the 2? Divide by 2. So I get P over 2 equals L plus W. I'll make that a person. All right, we're almost there. And then what's the last thing I need to do to get a W all alone? Subtract L. Minus L. Minus L. That gives me P over 2 minus L equals W. Let's do one more. All right, we gotta get B1 by itself. Okay, I gotta get rid of this 1/2 and this H. How do I get rid of 1/2? Multiply by 2, and then we'll multiply by 2 first. Okay, so I get 2A equals H times B1 plus B2. How do I get rid of H? Divide. So I get 2A over H equals B1 plus B2. I'm looking to keep B1 by itself. So what do I need to do? Good, minus B2. we just psych ourselves out because you want to simplify things and you cannot. 2a minus h minus, oh, sorry, divided by h minus b2 equals b1. All right, let's be back at 12:20. Does that feel fair? I'm gonna stop you guys. You don't need to listen to us going to lunch.